What's up, YouTube? You're checking out the Frequent Flyer, and this is my review of the JJRC X1 Shuttle. And this is the quad here. This is the first toy grade brushless quad. That sounds funny saying, I guess maybe it's not just toy grade anymore because it's brushless, but I don't know. But this quad has brushless motors, and it's JJRC's first crack at doing a quad with brushless motors, and it's the price range is really low. I guess for they're targeting the people that are buying toy quads, so you can get this for just a little over $100. And well, I think they did a great job at their first brushless quad. This thing has a lot of power, as expected from a quad with brushless motors. Although it does have a few design flaws, I think. Starting off with some of the things that I think could have been implemented better. The lighting. The lighting on this thing is not good at all. You can barely even see it at all. Even at night, when you're supposed to be able to see lights, you can't really see them. It's hard to see them from any angle except for underneath. So if you have the thing flying far up above, then you can see the lights, but barely. You can't see the craft at all because they just made it in this black version. And so I think when you're making a quad in all black, if that's part of your color scheme, a lot of black, then I think you have to do something as far as implementing the LEDs better, with some lens covers or something like that. Not just holes with the LEDs just barely poking out of them, because it doesn't shine through the body. This thing is a horrible night flyer. I think somebody would probably lose this if they try to fly it at night, if they're not used to flying at night. Or well, it takes a lot of effort to try not to lose this thing if you're flying it at night. So it takes the fun out of it because you're most of the time worrying about the orientation and where your quad is at. So I wouldn't recommend flying this thing at night. And that's one of the things that I think they could have implemented better. It has an awesome looking design. It looks pretty sleek and nice. Kind of reminds me of the Blade Nano, the Blade 200 QX. It looks like that's what it reminds me of. It's the second thing that I would say is the landing gear. The landing gear are quite bouncy, so when you're landing it, it bounces around a lot, and together, coupled with the way that they made this disarming feature on here, it has a disarming feature and arming feature that you have to, the motors don't stop spinning when you go all the way down on the throttle. So the motors continue to spin, and you have to do a procedure to get the motors to stop, to come out of idle, to lock the motors. And so with these, coupled with these bouncing landing feet here, the landing gear causes it to bounce around a lot, and the motors are still spinning, and the accelerometer is still trying to counteract it leaning, and so it bounces around quite a bit. And most of the time I find myself tipping this thing over, and the motors are, most of the times the motors, when they hit, they do stop and turn off though, but that's just a problem. I think that's a flaw with its design, having a landing gear not that stable when you're coming down for a landing, and also having the motors continue to spin. So that's a negative about it. I think that might be just about it with the negative on this thing, because this thing is awesome. It flies awesome. Oh, well, its flight characteristics has some flaws, I think, as well. I think it could have been a little more smooth on the controls, a little less responsive. This thing is very responsive, maybe a little too responsive. And so you find the quad going like this a lot when you're flying it and controlling it. It's moving like that a lot. Look like it's wobbling. That's due to the sensitivity of the aileron and pitch angles. It's the transmitter is very sensitive, and so you find the quad going like that a lot when you're controlling it. And also the side flying, the aileron or roll isn't as deep as the pitch. I know that's probably just nitpicking, but that's something I think that could improve the flight of this, the flight characteristics of this. But and the yaw is a little mushy on it. It doesn't stop. As soon as you apply yaw, it continues to go a little, just a tiny bit more. So sometimes you can over yaw when you're flying it around and trying to make a turn, flying fast and doing bank turns or funnel turns. Sometimes it yaws too much when you apply yaw. And that's about it. This thing has a ton of power. It has a crazy throttle punch. I think this thing might fly faster than the Blade 200 QX. But the motors on this thing are larger than the motors on the Blade 200 QX. So this is my Blade 200 QX. I know I keep comparing this thing to the Blade 200 QX, but the Blade 200 QX is the closest thing I have to this, with having brushless motors and all. But as you can see, the motors on the Blade 200 QX are smaller than the motors on the X1, but these are 3000 kV, and the X1 has 2280 kV motors. For the most part, these are powerful though. I guess combined with the props, it does have these self-tightening nuts on it, so that's nice to have. And also it has this camera connection under here, a socket for a camera, and I hear that you can use the X5C's FPV system on here. So the Simon X5C's FPV 5.8 FPV camera system can be purchased for about a little over $50 maybe at Banggood, or some of the other stores might have it as well. But that's a nice FPV upgrade for this thing if it does work. But I'm hearing it does work, so pretty awesome that that can be used on here if it can. And so just a very nice buy, I think. Oh yeah, and I forgot to mention another negative about this is that it's LVC. I know if you've watched my videos, you've seen this thing fall a couple of times on LVC. The LVC warning, just about no way of knowing that this thing is at LVC aside from the way it feels. I guess you have to feel for a loss in power. A substantial loss in power indicates that it's getting very close to LVC. I would recommend just using a timer or something to time this thing. Probably give yourself maybe 6 minutes before you bring it in, and swap the battery if you have another battery, or just cut the flight there, because this thing just falls out of the sky at LVC. So if you're down pretty low, maybe about 2 feet, then you won't have a problem. It'll probably just self land, because the props do continue to spin up for a little while, maybe about 3 seconds, but then this thing just drops like a rock. So yeah, that's a very bad thing, I think, because I just think about flying this thing up with some height, and then when you hit LVC, you don't have time to bring it down to yourself or bring it down to a nice landing. It's just going to fall, and you can barely even see the lights. So I know they flash, but it's just not enough time for you to get this thing back to safety on LVC. So major flaw, I think, in it is that LVC warning there. And so other than that, it's a pretty nice buy. And the transmitter here, it has all the trim buttons. This right here is aileron trim. This one here is forward and backwards trim. In the manual, it says that this is video and photo activation and stuff right here. So that operates your video and photos. This right here is your throttle trim button, and this one here is your yaw trim button. But this one here just says extended. I have no idea what this button does. It does beep. I don't know what it does. And this button, I don't know what this does. It doesn't even reference this button here in the manual. So when you press this, it does beep, but no auto flips or anything like that. This is your rates. It has 3 rates. The first 2 rates are pretty much unflyable, I think. A beginner, I guess you can argue that first and second rate is for beginners, but I think this is in no way a beginner's quad. So I don't know. You can put, it does come with prop guards, so you can put prop guards on it, but I think prop guards on a brushless quad really isn't going to do anything. It probably would stop the motors from hitting the ground when you're tipping over from the bouncy landing gear on this thing. But as far as stopping it from this thing flies, it just flies too fast. A quad with brushless motors just flies with too much momentum, I think, for those prop guards to really help, you know, in safety or whatever. This thing will really hurt something if you fly into it. So I don't recommend this for beginners. So it comes with an extra set of spare props, although these props do seem to be pretty sturdy. And oh, that's another thing. This thing is built, the body is built better than the Blade 200QX. I can say that because the Blade 200QX, just a small tap or a light crash and you're going to have to buy a new body for it. So I have crashed this. This thing has fallen down a couple times from LVC. And I really didn't crash it into anything, but that's just about it. Just tipping over and falling out of the sky from LVC, and it's held up pretty well. These are the prop guards here that it comes with, and it comes with a balanced charger there, just a cheap wall plug-in type, and you have to get the adapter for American sockets there. And it comes with a little bag of screws for everything, because you can screw the prop guards on and the landing gear has to be screwed on. And so that's about it. Let's go check this thing out in flight. Okay, so this is the outdoor flight demo of the JJRC X1 Shuttle, they're calling it. Out here at the baseball field. So I can really open it up, show you guys how fast it can go. You guys already know the arming sequence from the previous videos, so we're just gonna get right into it. So we're in low rates now. This is low rates pitch. Yaw, the low rates yaw is really slow. So this is mid rates. So mid rates, y'all, I think it's still kind of slow. And this is its pitch. So the pitch isn't too bad. Enough to do funnels with it. Okay, we're on high rates now. This is high rates, y'all. So this yaw is not bad, but it could be faster. And I noticed that the yaw doesn't stop immediately, but that's not too bad, I guess. For the most part, it's controllable. Pitch gets pretty deep. That's the speed. And you can see this thing can move pretty fast. The range isn't bad on it either. I'm not kicking the throttle all the way up though. Let's see if we can do a throttle punch with it. So not bad. I think this is an awesome buy, you know, for the price. what you're getting, a brushless quad like this, man, this is a game changer. I wish you can shut the motors by bringing the throttle down when in the air, so you can do some type of flips, or they should have included like a flip button or something. Just would have made it a little more fun. I like to do flips and funnels and all. It banks pretty nice, but the side pitch isn't as deep as the forward pitch, so the side funnels aren't as nice looking. So pretty decent battery life on this too. Definitely flies longer than the Blade 200QX. No problem whatsoever with Vortex ring state with a brushless quad. Now one problem with this, as I said before, the LVC warning, it's not implemented well. I think they should have some type of a beeping alarm in the transmitter. They certainly can do it, because when you leave this thing alone from inactivity, it starts to beep. So certainly they could have implemented that with they should have been able to just let the thing alarm, give me a beep on the transmitter or something to let me know that we're at low voltage warning. Because, or give us some better LEDs. These LEDs really suck in combination with the black body there. It's very responsive, so it may seem twitchy to some that are not used to having such deep pitch and such responsiveness. Awesome quad though. And that's what happens when you cut the throttle all the way. It still stays upright because the props never stop spinning. So you can see I've been flying this thing pretty hard so far for a while, and it flies for a nice long time. Compared to the Blade 200QX, the yaw does seem, it feels a little mushy. Somewhat, it doesn't stop right away. That's one thing I've noticed flying it out here in open space where you can fly it fast and hard. Feels like it's getting a little weak. Okay, now that's LVC kicked in now, and it's going straight down. So that's it. The JJRC X1 Shuttle. Thanks for watching.